The Olyari were known across the stars as the gentlest of beings. Delicate, feather-crested, and luminous with soft bioluminescent markings. They had never fought a war in the 1,000 centuries of their recorded history. They healed, they cultivated, and they taught. Entire civilizations, born and broken on harsher worlds, often found refuge in Olyari sanctuaries. So when the Great Concordance fractured, no one expected the Olyari to take sides. On the Galactic Council floor, ambassadors debated with the usual venom. The Crixel demanded humanity's exile after the Terran fleets had crushed a pirate armada in a display of brutal efficiency. The Zelver denounced humans as Death World predators, dangerous and unfit for interstellar fellowship. Even the neutral Polari shifted uneasily in their crystalline pods. And then, to everyone's astonishment, the Olyari high voice drifted forward. Their feathers shimmered like silver flame as they spoke. We choose to stand with humanity. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Voices screeched, translators sputtered, and envoys stormed from their stations. For millennia, the Olyari had remained outside all martial disputes. For them to choose anyone, much less the most violent young species in memory, was unthinkable. The reasons came to light only later, in stories whispered through every star system. Long before the council vote, an Olyari exploration vessel had been ambushed on the edge of contested space. Pirates boarded, indifferent to the Olyari's pleas. Their culture had no soldiers, no weapons beyond basic shields. The crew would have been slaughtered if not for the human freighter Callisto Dawn. Captain Elias Mercer had been running relief supplies, his ship barely armed. But when he intercepted the Olyari distress call, he did not hesitate. He flung his freighter between the pirate cruisers and the defenseless vessel. Outgunned, engines failing, Mercer fought anyway. The Callisto Dawn burned. Air hissed from ruptured bulkheads. Yet the pirates were driven back, unwilling to face a human crew that fought like cornered wolves. In the aftermath, Olyari healers tended Mercer's dying crew. They could not save all of them. Before his last breath, Captain Mercer spoke to the high voice who had been rescued. His words were simple. Doesn't matter if you're fragile. Doesn't matter if you can't fight. If you're alive, you deserve the chance to keep living. That's enough for us to stand. For a species that had survived by never standing against anything, those words struck deeper than any weapon. When the Olyari Council debated whether to remain neutral yet again, the memory of Mercer's sacrifice weighed against every instinct. They had always believed peace was preserved by refusal, by silence, by retreat. But humanity had shown them something different. Peace could be defended even at cost. And so the Olyari made their choice. Their fleets were not warships, but medical arcs and relief cruisers. Wherever humanity's soldiers bled, Olyari healers followed. Wherever humans rebuilt shattered colonies, Olyari cultivators seeded life. The galaxy watched in shock as the gentlest species became the shield-bearers of the most feared. Enemies mocked the alliance at first. The predators hide behind the pacifists, they sneered. But those same enemies soon discovered the truth. It was not humanity hiding behind the Olyari. It was the Olyari standing beside humanity, unflinching, as if Mercer's fire lived in their feathers. A Zelver warlord once asked an Olyari why they would risk annihilation for such a dangerous ally. The high voice answered with calm certainty, "Because humanity fought for us when they had no reason to. They killed so that we might live. We heal so that they may endure. Alone we are prey. Together we are more." Centuries later, historians would argue about tactics, treaties, and battles. But soldiers, human and alien alike, remembered something else. They remembered Olyari medics walking into fire unarmed to drag wounded Marines to safety. They remembered human captains turning their guns not only for their own survival, but to protect the luminous, fragile beings who had once never lifted a weapon. And in the quiet halls of the Olyari homeworld, where feathers still glowed in peaceful gardens, a monument rose. It bore the likeness of a human, scarred and weary, standing before a burning freighter. The inscription was short, written in both Terran and Olyari script. "He stood for us, so we stand with them."